Hello and welcome back to All Things Trentside, the brand new podcast that is dedicated to all things Nottingham Forest. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all well and in high spirits. I mean, you should be in high spirits because if you're watching, you will know that the return of football is only one day away. It feels like Christmas Eve all over again. And that's because we are going to see Nottingham Forest back in action tomorrow against Sheffield Wednesday. Their first match in over 3 months since the defeat to Millwall, as we look to continue our championship campaign and our march towards the playoffs, and hopefully at the end of it a return to the Premier League since the turn of the millennium. But yeah, this video really is going to be a bit different. Normally, you know, it's me talking about what's been going on the past week at Forest, and you know, I've done my team of the decade, my games I've been to, my top 10 games. But no, I can finally do a match preview. It's been a while coming. You know, this is the first time I'm going to do one of these. So if I'm a bit rusty or it's not the best, then I apologise. But you know, practice makes perfect. I've already had to redo this intro about 15 times, something like that, because I can't think of what to say. So if I am rambling a bit, forgive me. I'm a bit nervous because this is the first time of me doing one of these. But yeah, this is something I really wanted to do when the channel first come out. You know, it was kind of, I wanted to talk about Forest in the moment, you know, how we was doing and how the games were coming up. I think lockdown gave him the perfect opportunity to do that, though, build a foundation on this channel rather than jump in. Because I think if football had continued, I wouldn't have started this channel until the 2021 season. But of course, with the break, it's given me a chance to make this channel, build it up, put a few videos out there, and now the match previews can start. This is going to be my match preview for the Championship game against Sheffield Wednesday, which Forest are playing tomorrow, as we look to continue our step up to the playoffs and hopefully put a bit of daylight between us and a few teams, because Forest weren't in the best run of form, was they, before the break? We just lost 3-0 at home to Millwall, who were breathing down our necks. We'd only, you know, picked up 6 points in the last 6 games since that 2-0 win against Leeds, you know, and that included a draw to struggling Middlesbrough and a loss to struggling Charlton. So Forest weren't in the best of form, so it's going to be interesting to see how we recover now. We've had a 3 month break, players are back in training, and now it's just interesting to see how things will develop. Especially, of course, we've seen the return of the Bundesliga and the Premier League. There's been a few, I think the Coppa Italia has been on as well, and the Spanish League. So football is nearing its completion to returning. We've seen the League 2 playoffs as well yesterday. But yeah, it's interesting to see how Forest will react to this, because I say we wasn't in the best run of form. We was, you know, after that Leeds game, everyone thought, you know, that was it, we was going to push on, and you know, we're probably sitting filming this video thinking a few more wins were in the Premier League, but that didn't happen. In typical Forest fashion, we did, you know, kind of mess it up, but we're still in a good position. Probably 4 or 5 wins, especially because we've got teams coming up around us. 4 or 5 wins, probably just enough to secure us a playoff spot. You know, it's going to be difficult. You know, we've got some really tough teams coming up. We're playing, you know, not really. I don't think we're playing a mid-table team, apart from probably the team we've got tomorrow. We're playing teams that are in and around there who will fancy their chances of getting into the playoffs or fancy their chances of surviving. So Forest are really going to have to bring their A game in the return now to make sure we secure this playoff spot and have a chance of playing the Premier League. I'm still a bit unsure of what I want with Forest. Of course I want us to do well, but just not being able to see us play Premiership football, if it is behind closed doors next season, or not being able to witness us go up, it's the saying, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. You know, what do you want to do? Like, you can see Forest go up, and potentially fans can go back next season and we're in the Premier League and we're going to be like playing the top teams, or you know, we stay, and it's just Forest luck, isn't it? You know for a fact that if we go up, it's going to be no fans are allowed back for next season, and then we'll get relegated and that's it. But if fans are allowed back by September, we're going to either not make the playoffs or lose in the playoffs, and so we can actually go back and watch more Championship football. It's just the way our Forest luck is, isn't it? And our luck as fans, after all the bad times we've seen, we've finally got a chance to watch something special unfold, and we can't do it. But at least we've got football back. That's the main thing. But yeah, like I say, I am rambling, but let's get into our match preview for our away trip, to Sheffield Wednesday. So yeah, Forest will travel to Hillsborough tomorrow as they look to continue their championship campaign and get back on track. Really, as I mentioned, haven't been in the best of form. We lost 3-0 to Millwall before the break. We haven't won at Hillsborough since 2014 either, with Henry Lansbury scoring the only goal. So it's a tough place to go for Forest. We rarely beat Sheffield Wednesday either. In the last 10 meetings, we've only won once and we've lost 9. And that was a 2-1 victory last season when Karanka was in charge. We beat him 2-1 and Carvalho and Graben scored. So yeah, it's not a great record for Forest going to Hillsborough, but without fans there, things might improve for Forest, and the home side aren't in the best form either. Sheffield Wednesday plummeted like a stone just before the Christmas break when they played us. They looked like they were going to be the team that broke into the top 6 and carried on. There's always that one team around Christmas that picks up a bit of form, but no. Since the turn of the year, they've only won two in 12 games. That's included a 5-0 loss to Blackburn and a 3-0 loss to Reading. So not been in the greatest of form. And their last game before the break was even worse than ours. They went to Brentford and lost 5-0. There were calls for Gary Monk to be sacked. I remember on the Sheffield Wednesday timeline, they were like, we need Monk out. We don't want Monk here anymore. He survived. He's still here. And he will lead his team out against Sabre's Forest. It's going to be an interesting one. Because both teams were in a wretched run of form, weren't they, before the lockdown happened. And now it was always see how they would react the next week. You have that in football, don't you? If you lose the game, it's going to how you react the next week, how you respond. But either team have not been able to do that because, of course, the lockdown. And now it's we've had 3 months to kind of flush the Millwall game out of our system. Same with Sheffield Wednesday. Their form's not been the greatest, and we've just needed to make sure, now we bring our A game, because teams around us, the teams we've got coming up, are going to be, wanting to pounce at every opportunity, every mistake we make. So it's going to be an interesting one. It is going to be interesting as well how we play without fans, because, of course, fans are a big part of the game, and we've seen in the Bundesliga and the Premier League and their 2 games that come back, it just felt different. It doesn't feel the same intensity with the fans. You can hear them if they're attacking and they're under the cosh and the fans are getting behind them. And that probably would have felt like that at Hillsborough. If Sheffield Wednesday had still continued to play bad, the fans would have probably got on their back. Our players would have sensed that, pushed on. And I think we probably would have maybe got something more than I do now. I'm not saying I don't think we're going to get something tomorrow. I'm not too sure how the game's going to go, but it definitely would have been more easier going forward, because we're playing a team that were in a terrible run of form. They'd just been beat 5-0. The fans were getting frustrated, but now it's just like a reset button. We've got 9 games, especially for the likes of Wednesday. They've got a few players out of contract. The likes of Nuhiu, Fletcher, Hutchinson, Morgan Fox, Fernando Forestieri, Joey Pulipesi, Kieran Lee, Sam Winnell. They're all out of contract, so they now are looking to either put themselves in the shop window and say, this, we're not going to sign a new contract, or we're not being offered one, but we can still do a job, or turn around and say, we want to play for this club still, and we can still do a job. It's going to be an interesting one, because now with this break, they now need to decide now what we're going to do going forward. Are they going to play for the badge, or are they going to think, right, we need to get a move here. We're going to make sure we play well. It's a tough place to go. It's a difficult one in this scenario, because, like I say, the players are going to be without the fans. We might obviously play freely without pressure, but with Sheffield Wednesday having so many people out of contract, they're going to have to, going to do one thing or the other, aren't they? Either going to get a new contract, or they're going to play to make themselves available for another club. So it's going to be interesting, especially, the first game back, see how Forest respond against, opposition that really causes problems in the past. But yeah, into the team news now. Forest got a few injury problems. very, very doubt probably the spine of our team. Sambaso picked up a knee problem and he's trained all week and done well. He's expected to train today as well. So don't know what's going to happen with that. He did pick up an injury in the remaining games. I can't remember how many games he missed now, but we thought the break were doing well, and we're going to have him back for the running, but seems that he's got a persistent knee problem. Always happens with Forest, don't we? We've got a good player, but they're just made of like rich tea or something. Just break easily. Ben Watson's also picked up an ankle problem. He picked that up in the pre-season game we played against Wolves. Well, the friendly game, should I say. Lamucci said they hope they'll be ready for the game. That'll be a big loss. Especially to lose one of them is a loss, but we've coped having well-ish without having one or the other. But to lose both would be a huge blow, especially the first game back. If you lose them in the run, we've seen in League Two playoffs, I think Lee Martin, funnily enough, the legend that is Lee Martin that had a fantastic loan spell with us. He got injured in the League Two playoff semi-final yesterday. I don't think he got injured on purpose, but not being back for so long, and normally in pre-season you're still used to trading, but the players haven't been able to go in. They've had to do their own trading and then come back into full training and full contact training. I don't think they're not used to that because they haven't really been doing it because they're not allowed to go into the ground and into the training ground and train. So I can understand it if it was to happen a few games down the line, but before the games, it's such a tough one for Forest. It's going to be, if we don't lose two of them, we're going to find it difficult because they're the anchors of our midfield that have served us so well this season. Especially Sam Bassau, his record with us is phenomenal. He's only lost one game, and that was the opening game to West Brom. So the record of him in the side is good, and we need him back because he does allow it's more freedom. I think Ben Watson's play his game as well. I mean, I know Watson plays his game anyway, whether or not he's got Ryan Yates beside him or whoever else. But Sam Bassau, just there's that tackle against Brentford we'll always go back to. Just absolutely nailed. I can't remember, was it Benrahma, Canos, one of the two, and that's what he can do. So it's a bit of a squeaky bum time for Forest at the moment, sweating on them injuries. Sheffield Wednesday, one player that is going to be ruled out is on-loan attacker Josh Windass. He's ruled out for an injury. He won't be expected to return to late June. Stephen Fletcher as well. He was picked up a knock, but he's resumed training. He's been training for the whole week. A big boost for Wednesday. The top goal scorer this season with 13 goals. A big danger man, big target man. And we've seen this season Forest can't deal with target men. Hence why Rudy Gusted and Matt Smith tore us apart in our last two games. But, it's a big boost for Wednesday to have him back because the strikers haven't really scored this season. Forestieri, who's normally been Wednesday's star player in the last few seasons, hasn't done much. Jordan Rhodes only scored 3 goals this season. I'll let you guess who them 3 goals come against. But yeah, a big boost that for Wednesday, especially if he is fit to lead the line. But if not, Forest might have a chance. He's a striker who can cause problems. Say he's tall, not afraid to throw a few elbows in there, put the defenders off. But if he's not there Wednesday, a bit goal shy. So could be a big boost for Forest if he doesn't come back. But yeah, then the referee on the matter is Robert Jones. He last reffed Forest game in the 0-0 draw at home to QPR. The dreadful game against QPR when we should have, time we needed a win really, but a typical Forest draw 0-0 against a team that was struggling at the time. He last refereed Sheffield Wednesday's 2-1 loss to Preston at the start of the season. He did award 2 penalties in that game, so I don't think he's afraid to make a big decision when needed, because all eyes are going to be on the refs when it comes back, especially after what happened with Sheffield United the other day with Michael Oliver. I mean, I know that's technology, but still, if he's not afraid to make a big decision, then Forest are a very disciplined team. I don't think we've had many red cards this season. But yeah, going forward, hopefully he has a good game, because Forest normally get shocking refs. we won't talk about Keith Stroud. I hope he doesn't ref us this season again. And we'll get for the playoff final, wouldn't we? In our luck. But yeah, that's the news from both camps going into it. So it is a really, this is really in the balance going into it if you're looking at it from a neutral perspective. I think just because Forest's record against Sheffield Wednesday, I say 1 win in 10 and 9 defeats. It's not even like we've won once. Drew 4 and they've won 5. We've not got anything. Apart from last season, Sheffield Wednesday have done the double over us for the last 4 or 5 seasons. But it's a duck we need to break. But we've done that quite a lot this season. We went to Cardiff and won there. We never normally get anything at Cardiff. So we prove that we can go to some grounds that we find it difficult and win or get a point when the chips are down. I think that's what Forest are going to aim to do this game. It's a very tough place normally. Without the fans though, is it going to make Sheffield Wednesday play with more freedom? No one on their back, no one thinking like, if they make a stray pass or if they were losing at half time by 1 goal and the crowd are booing, is it going to get into the head? They can play with freedom. They can hear their teammates when they pass the ball. They can hear the managers. There's only going to be a few people in the stands who are club executives going forward. So it is going to be an interesting one, especially it's going to set the tone for how Forest campaign is going to go post lockdown, and of course set the tone for the championship season. If Forest need to start the championship season well, otherwise it's going to be difficult to get back in that momentum and try and secure a playoff spot, especially because the gap between us and the team in 7th, I think it's only 5-6 points. Especially with the teams we've got coming up, play Bristol City, Fulham, Preston, even Derby you could throw in the mix. They're all playoff chasing, and they're desperate either not to be caught or chasing the top 6. So it's going to be really interesting going forward, but I'm looking forward to it no matter what. I think just having any sort of form of football back, but having your actual team back and watching them play, the season's not been voided and we're not sitting here. I want the 46 games to finish. I want to, look at the table after and think we've either earned the right to play in the playoffs or, we've bottled it really, rather than all people saying you only got into the playoffs because you got points per game. No, if we're sitting in the playoffs at the end of them 46 games, it's because we've earned it. But it's going to be difficult. Every team with something to play for, contracts to be won, put themselves in the shop window. It's going to be so difficult going forward. But Sheffield Wednesday are going to be right up for it. They're tough run of form. They're going to be eager to turn it around. Maybe give their fans something to cheer about towards the end of the season. I think they are the mid-table team at the minute. Just too far off the playoffs, just too far from relegation. So all their players now are looking to either move on, get that next move, or show that they want to play for the club next season. But just before we go, just a bit of contract news, and that is that Michael Dawson has signed a 1-year extension to his Forest contract. So it's good to see Dawes back for another season. He needed that experience, I think. Apart from his injury against, I believe it was Stoke, he hasn't really, didn't really put a foot wrong. He just couldn't get back into the side because of Figueiredo. But now we are seeing him back, and we're going to see that experience, and hopefully that can lead us on to either, the playoffs going forward. He's won the playoffs with Hull. He's won promotion with Hull, and he can just help that team for the first season back in the Premier League, or he can nurture the talent coming through next season. You see his passion as well he has for the club. It's good. I'm glad he signed a new contract. There is no news on Ben Watson. He has extended his contract to the end of the season now. The end of the season being after the Stoke game. Same with Jordan Smith. The loan deals for Bostock, Semedo and Diakabi have all been extended as well, so we will have them available. So we won't have another Lyle Taylor situation that we're seeing at Charlton, refusing to play because they want a new contract, or they want to put themselves in the shop window. So it's good. It's good to see that the team is bonding together. They want to be part of something special, and which is good. And if we can't witness it live, hopefully we can witness it at least on the television. But regardless, it's going to be a tough game for Forest tomorrow. But hopefully we're ready for the challenge, and hopefully we can secure that playoff spot. And we will be talking about us this time next year I'll be doing a match preview for a Premier League game rather than another Championship game. But yeah, this is my match preview for the Sheffield Wednesday game. It was just a bit informative, really, to let you know what's going on with the teams and whatnot. I hope you did enjoy it. This is my first one, so if you was a bit unsure, cut me a bit of slack, come back for the next one. Hopefully that will be better. I will be putting my match review up as well on either Sunday or Monday. I'm going to try and get it up the next day or the day after each game, unless of course we play the Saturday and Tuesday, then I'll make sure it's up on the Sunday for the preview for the next game being up on the Monday. So there will be uploads on the channel more frequently, not as spaced out as they have been, especially for the next month or so anyway, with the return of football. But yeah, guys, I hope you have enjoyed the video. As always, give us a subscribe, follow us on our social media, the links will be in the description. I hope you did enjoy it. Hope you got a smile on your face because Forest are coming back. I know I have, and hopefully we can get 3 points tomorrow, just to lift the spirits of what's been going on in the world at the moment. But football's back, Forest are back, and let's make this a season to remember. Come on, you Reds.